how to be a less judgmental person. I want to start this video by saying that it is in our kind of human nature to be a little judgmental and to notice things. That is completely normal. But there becomes a limit to that judgmentality, I guess, if you want to call it that. When you're so judgmental that you literally start feeling irritated by the way other people are living, because you're jumping to extremes and you're criticizing and overanalyzing another person's life, and at the end of the day, it only affects you. It comes back to you, and it is only harming you in the process. A lot of times judgment can come from insecurity and comparison. So if you seem to get super irritated at other people, or you seem to judge them so hardly that it starts to irritate you in the long run, think about why that irritates you so much. So here are some ways to become less judgmental. First is to replace assumptions with curiosity. If you see someone and you automatically start thinking like, oh, that's weird, or oh, they're a bad person, instead start thinking why they might have done that behavior. Approach things with curiosity more than statements and criticism and judgment. Next is to separate behavior from character. Now, us as humans, I feel like we tend to criticize other people very heavily. For example, if you cut someone off a lane and they honk at you, you'll probably think, oh, well, I was just in a rush, I was rushing to school, or I have something important coming up, so I need to get there a little faster. But when that same scenario happens to us and we're the one getting cut off instead, we tend to think, oh, that person's irresponsible, they're a crazy driver, they don't know what they're doing. So it's just kind of putting yourself in the other person's shoe for a second. Instead of thinking to someone, oh, they're irresponsible, they're lazy, instead maybe think, oh, well, they might have had a lot of stress going on, so they might have forgotten something important. Or maybe they're hella burnt out and they just need a rest for a little bit, so it does seem like they're lazy, but they're not. Next is to remember your own imperfections. Now, everyone is not perfect, and I think it's important to acknowledge that if you want to be less judgmental. Everyone has moments where they do something embarrassing, or they make mistakes, or they act a way that doesn't reflect their true character. Remember that being less judgmental does not mean you're ignoring harmful behavior. You can still have standards and boundaries without thinking the worst of somebody.